If there's one thing that we can credit 2015 with is the expansion of art in Kenya. It is 2016 and that trend isn't about to change. The Art Space, an art gallery founded by Wamboi Kamiru, is the new kid in the block.
I did my master's in African Studies at the University of Oxford. And when I came to Kenya, I wanted to teach history, because that's actually the field that I was in, which is an intense study of Kenyan history, especially during the colonial period. Now, unfortunately, the university that I went to told me that history is a dying institution and that I should not join the history department. Now, that really discouraged me, because what I know is many of us are not very aware of what our history is as a country. So that led me to look for a creative way to do it, and I've always been an artist. In all of that, I wanted to create a structure, because I have began to really see the value of art in helping us dig into deeper issues where it concerns society. And so the art space is that avenue, it is that platform, because all artists have something to say about themselves, but they also have something to say about themselves in society. And this space is about allowing artists to explore the toughest questions that they face on an internal level, but also within their environment. So this stems from the Venice Biennale debacle that happened last year. If you remember that, we had a Kenyan pavilion. Now, the Venice Biennale is like the Olympics of art. You want to be there and you want to represent your country in the best way possible, because it is the greatest showcase for art. And along the way, it began to become apparent that the perspective is that there is no Kenyan art. Now, that angers me, because I said so then and I say so now. Saying that there's no Kenyan art is basically saying that I don't exist, because I live for art, and many other artists live for art. So the art space is, I think, an extension of myself. So I wanted something that was simple, something that had lots of daylight, because what you usually get from international standard galleries is you get a balance between a warm light and a daylight, and they usually do that artificially. But here I'm blessed with big windows, so I'm able to bring in daylight and also able to bring in the warm light. It also gives you the opportunity to see the artwork as if it were hung in your own home. And you get to see the vibrancy of the colors and the texture of the artwork. The art space is also a relaxed space, because the one thing I want is I want people to stop being afraid of art. Because if we can grow our local arts market, so beyond the expatriates as well, if we can grow that, then we can have the art flourish in the way that it ought to flourish. But I want it somewhere that's accessible to everybody, whether you're an art buyer coming with a car, or whether you're an artist coming on foot, or vice versa. It's about also invigorating your soul, your spirit, and it's about getting you to create in a more interesting way. Come see what artists are doing. You know, it might feed into your work. Our next show is by a young artist who I'm really, really excited about. His name is Longinus Nagila. Now, Longinus has done a couple of shows internationally in Italy, and he's also done 1 or 2 shows here in Kenya. But what he's bringing to this particular space is something quite new and interesting in his style. For the rest of the year, I plan to have a show with Ugandan artists, and I don't plan on bringing them as Ugandan artists. I plan to bring them on a particular theme. I also plan to have a show where we'll be showcasing work by graphic designers. Graphic designers are often seen as something technical, but there's art behind that. And what usually happens with our education system is that people are not encouraged to be artists, but they're encouraged to do something that is art-related. So you'll find many artists hidden in architecture, real genuine artists hidden in architecture, or in graphic design. So I want to give an opportunity to graphic designers to sort of put down the rules of graphic design and actually create something that comes from within. shown as fine art and visual art. I also hope to hold a show with some of our modern artists. So some of the artists who are harder to find, some of the artists who are rare, but who have done art for 20 years plus. Who are these crazy people who stuck in the art scene when it wasn't a cool thing to be an artist? And what did they create? And how has it influenced me subconsciously or directly? Art is a very powerful tool. Art allows us to, I've always said, artists are prophets. They speak about the future. They speak about the present as it is, especially with topics that are very difficult, or topics that are simple and fun. But they speak about the present, they speak about the future, and in some cases they speak about the past. It's a powerful tool that allows us to question things that we may not be comfortable questioning in any other space. It allows us to question the topics that would ordinarily get us arrested in some cases, or the questions that we have tumbled with as individuals in our quiet moments, whether it has to do with love or relationships, or it has to do with family or growth. Let's create the spaces where younger people can come through, where we can show our artwork, where we can own and take over this space, because it is ours, and only we can take care of it the way that we know best. I want everyone to get a sense in which, you can look at an artist, you can analyze a piece. The prices are also not prohibitive. So my prices range from 28K to $500,000 shillings. There's something for everybody. It is time for us to take our place at the table. As a once famous curator said, African art has come to take its place at the table. And it is time for this region to do so as well. I mean, West African art thrives, especially out of Nigeria. It thrives. Southern African art also thrives, especially out of South Africa. Let's do this for this region.
Indeed, art is so related to being human. The art space there, I tell you get this only on Artitude. Well, we take a short break, don't go too far.